Geometry students, welcome back. We're still in section 1.2 and it looks like there is an example 5. I thought we stopped at 4. I don't know. Usually they'd stop at 4, but sometimes they sneak in an extra example. You're going to like this one too, especially you algebra people that just love algebra so much. This is another algebra example. Now on the top of your page there, you see a definition, a segment bisector, that would be a midpoint. It's any ray, segment, or line that intersects a segment at its midpoint. It divides the segment into 2 equal parts at its midpoint. Now, if you want to try this at home, this construction, go right ahead. It's not anything I'm necessarily going to do in class, but what you could do if you have some see-through type paper, just get some notebook paper or plain white paper. You'll have to use, if you use the plain white paper, use Sharpie so you can actually see through it, or a pen or something that will be a heavy dark mark that you can see through. What you're going to do is you're going to draw a segment on your sheet of paper. It doesn't matter, you can emulate the one just like you see in your notes there. You're going to fold your paper so that the endpoints are on top of each other, and fold it. As soon as the endpoints are touching, fold it. Okay, and then you're going to unfold the paper and you're going to see the line that's represented by the crease that you just made bisects your segment at exactly midpoint M. Okay, we call midpoints M usually, so that's why they have it labeled there. So XM is going to equal MY, and you can actually measure that with a ruler if you wanted to see if that's accurate. Okay, depends on how good you folded too, I think, a little bit. Now let's get to the algebra part of it. If you've tried that, that's great. Don't worry, you can put me on pause and try it on your own. Otherwise, we're just going to go right into our algebra. Example 5, I think you're going to love this. You're going to use the midpoints to find lengths, but you need to be told this. This is not something you assume. You don't look at a figure and go, well, that looks like it's in the middle. They have to tell you if that point that's in the middle is actually a midpoint. And they do, they tell us that right here. B is the midpoint of AC. So we know that B is the very, very center, and it splits AC into 2 equal segments. AB is length 5x, BC is length 3x plus 4, and they're asking us to find the lengths of all 3 of those segments, okay? So what we know for sure is that in this particular case, since B is the midpoint, that means AB must equal BC, and we'll be able to create an equation from this and say, okay, well 5x equals 3x plus 4, that's perfect. So you go ahead and just solve like you normally would. This is really basic algebra here, and you're going to have 2x equals 4, divide each side by 2, and now you know that x is 2. Now they aren't asking you what is x. They're asking you, well, how long is segment AB? If AB is 5 times x, then 5 times 2 is 10. Okay, so AB is length 10, which means BC also should be length what? 10, but we'll show it mathematically. 3x plus 4, that will be 3 times 2 plus 4. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 4 is 10. And then AC is going to be those 2 together, and that would be 10 plus 10, which is 20. So it's important that you answer the question. Okay, sometimes as math students, we think, oh, I found x, x is my answer. That may be an answer, but it does not answer the question. Make sure you are answering the question. They want you to find AB, BC, and AC, and that's what we did here. AB is 10, BC is 10, and AC must be 20 as a result. Okay, so I think you're going to find that to be pretty easy. This is going to be a pretty short video on that, and I don't have any extra credit. I don't think I had room to put any extra credit on here for you. So, but I know it's easy enough. You'll figure it out, okay? All right, if you have questions, bring them to class tomorrow.